All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am VC Pramod and with me is V Ravi Kumar. The headlines. Government brings retail and wholesale trade under ambit of micro, small and medium enterprises. India achieves highest ever merchandise export of $95 billion in the first quarter of current financial year. Government imposes stock limit for all pulses except moong till the 31st of October this year. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 97%. Vaccination coverage crosses 34.41 crore mark. Health and Family Welfare Ministry gives nod for vaccination of pregnant women. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat resigns. Monsoon session of Parliament to commence from the 19th of July. In women's cricket, third ODI between India and England to be played today. In Wimbledon tennis, Rohan Bopanna and Sania Mirza cruised through the first round in all-Indian mixed doubles clash. In Euro Cup football, Spain beat Switzerland and Italy defeat Belgium to enter semi-finals. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news. The government has decided to bring retail and wholesale trade under the ambit of micro, small and medium enterprises MSME. It has issued revised guidelines to include retail and wholesale trade as MSME and extending to them the benefit of the priority sector lending under RBI guidelines. In a series of tweets, MSME Minister Nitin Gadkari said the decision will benefit 2.5 crore retail and wholesale traders. He said the government is committed to strengthening of MSME and making them engines for economic growth. With the revised guidelines, the retail and wholesale trades will now be allowed to register on Udyam registration portal. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India has recorded highest ever export in the first quarter of April to June this year, despite the severity of second wave of COVID-19. Addressing a press conference in New Delhi, Mr. Goyal said India's economy is growing and the exports are also growing. He said the highest ever merchandise export of $95 billion has been achieved in the first quarter of this financial year between April to June. He said it has surpassed earlier peak of export in quarter 4 of 2020-21, which was $90 billion. Mr. Goyal said the export of engineering goods increased by $5.2 billion over the first quarter of 2019-2020. He also said rice exports growth has remained positive since May last year.
The government has imposed stock limit for all pulses except moong till the 31st of October this year. The decision has been taken to prevent hoarding and check price rise. The order will be applicable to wholesalers, retailers, millers and importers. Stock limit will be 200 metric tons for wholesalers, 5 metric tons for retailers. The removal of licensing requirements, stock limits and movement restrictions on specified foodstuffs Amendment Order 2021 has been issued yesterday. As a result of a slew of measures taken by the central government, a declining trend in the prices of pulses and edible oils is being witnessed. The highest ever production of major pulses amounting to over 255 lakh metric tons took place in the last financial year. The government said the country is registering a significant decline in active caseloads and fresh cases amid the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. With this, the recovery rate is continuously improving and it has reached 97% in the country. Briefing the media in New Delhi yesterday, Joint Secretary of Health and Family Welfare Ministry Love Agarwal has said the country is witnessing a decline in the daily number of cases due to the continued efforts of containment and restriction strategies. He said the country has reported over 46,000 cases during the last 24 hours. Mr. Agarwal said the country is witnessing a declining trend in case positivity for the last 8 weeks. However, 71 districts in the country are still registering case positivity more than 10%. Mr. Agarwal said despite the decrease in the COVID-19 fresh cases and positivity rate, people must rigorously follow the COVID-19 appropriate behavior. Niti Aayog member Health Dr. V.K. Paul cautioned that the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic is not over and the people should not lower their guard against this deadly disease. He urged people to get vaccinated and follow COVID-appropriate behavior for better protection from coronavirus disease.
थर्ड वेव आना नहीं आना हमारे हाथ में है. हमारे तैयारी रहेगी थर्ड वेव की, बहुत ज्यादा तैयारी रहेगी. रूरल एरियाज में बच्चों के लिए फैसिलिटीज, बेड, आईसीयू, वेंटिलेटर्स, ऑक्सीजन, दवाइयां, कंटेनमेंट की स्ट्रैटेजी, वो सब तैयारी रहेगी. टेस्टिंग. बट एट द सेम टाइम अगर हम डिसिप्लिन हैं, दृढ़ निश्चय रखते हैं, तो ये वेव नहीं आएगी और नहीं आनी चाहिए. देश का संकल्प ये होना चाहिए कि हम किसी भी नई आउटब्रेक को आने नहीं देंगे.
Referring to a study conducted by the PGI Chandigarh on the vaccine effectiveness, Dr. Paul said, COVID vaccines provide immunity against the coronavirus disease. On the availability of the vaccine, Dr. Paul said that continuous efforts have been made to ensure availability of sufficient doses of COVID-19 vaccines in the country. He said, India is in talks with Johnson & Johnson for the single-dose vaccine, and this vaccine will also be produced by BioE. About the total number of Delta plus variant cases in the country, Dr. Paul said that there are 56 Delta AY1 cases in 12 states.
India's cumulative COVID vaccination coverage has exceeded the 34.41 crore mark. Till 7 p.m. yesterday, cumulative figures stood at 34 crore 41 lakh 158. Since the new phase of universal COVID-19 vaccination commenced from 21st of June, more than 38.88 lakh vaccine doses were administered yesterday. The Health Ministry said that 20 lakh 8,217 vaccine doses were administered as first dose and 97,458 vaccine doses given as second dose in the age group of 18 to 44 years yesterday. Cumulatively, over 9 crore 61 lakh persons in the age group of 18 to 44 years across 37 states and union territories have received their first dose, and more than 23 lakh 73,000 have received their second dose since the start of phase 3 of the vaccination drive. The government has given nod for pregnant women to take the COVID vaccine. The decision was taken by the Union Health Ministry on the recommendations of the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization (NTAGI). For getting vaccinated, pregnant women can register on CoWIN or directly go to the nearest COVID vaccination center. The Health Ministry has prepared an operational guideline for vaccination of pregnant women, counseling kit for medical officers and frontline workers. The procedures and modalities of COVID-19 vaccination will remain the same as it is for any beneficiaries above 18 years of age. The Odisha government has again requested the centre to revise the ratio of government-private COVID-19 vaccine allocation from 75-25 to 95-5. In a letter to the Health Secretary yesterday, the Additional Chief Secretary Health of the Government of Odisha said that since the private hospitals in Odisha are not claiming the entire 25% vaccine allocation meant for them due to their low presence in the state, Odisha in general is losing out its proportionate share of vaccines. A report.
Giving a breakup of the vaccine allocation for both government and private hospitals for the month of June and July 2021. The state government has requested the centre to release the balance doses of vaccines not claimed by the private hospitals in the state to the state government, which amounts to more than 850,000 doses each for the month of June and July. It has requested that accordingly the vaccine allocation ratio may be revised to 95:5 as the private hospitals account for only about 5% of the total healthcare sector in the state. Meanwhile, the state vaccinated a total of about 31,000 beneficiaries against COVID-19 yesterday, taking the total number of inoculated beneficiaries in the state to about 1 crore 20 lakh. Girish Chandradas, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Gujarat recorded 80 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. According to the State Health Department, 228 patients recovered during the last 24 hours and were discharged from hospitals. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Total 8,10,979 patients have been recovered from COVID-19 in Gujarat till now. The recovery rate further improved and reached up to 98.46%. Maximum 18 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 15 new cases. 2 patients lost their lives due to COVID-19 yesterday. Gujarat has now 2,644 active cases at present, out of which 10 patients are on ventilators. Meanwhile, 2,48,796 persons have been vaccinated in the state yesterday. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has announced extension of lockdown with more relaxations till the 12th of July. The present lockdown ends on Monday. The Chief Minister had a review meeting with the ministers and officials of the government on COVID situation in the state yesterday. More from our correspondent.
The state has been recording a continuous decrease even as 4,230 fresh COVID cases were recorded yesterday. The total number of deaths due to COVID was 97. The state registered 36,707 active cases in the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested by RT-PCR was 1,60,810. The government has announced a uniform regulation in all the districts. 50 persons are allowed to attend weddings and 20 persons for funeral. Business exhibitions are allowed to be held only with participants who have received 2 doses of the vaccine. Hotels, hostels and restaurants are allowed for dine-ins with 50% customers from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. without air-conditioned facility. There is no necessity for e-passes for travel within the state. Interstate, public and private transport, schools, colleges, zoos, theatres have not been allowed to operate. Joy, AR News, Chennai.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government brings retail and wholesale trade under ambit of micro, small and medium enterprises. India achieves highest ever merchandise export of $95 billion in the first quarter of the current financial year. Government imposes stock limit for all pulses except moong till 31st of October this year. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 97%. Vaccination coverage crosses 34.41 crore mark. Health and Family Welfare Ministry gives nod for vaccination of pregnant women. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat resigns. Monsoon session of Parliament to commence from 19th July. In women's cricket, third ODI between India and England to be played today. In Wimbledon tennis, Rohan Bopanna and Sania Mirza cruised through the first round in an all-Indian mixed doubles clash. And in Euro Cup football, Spain beat Switzerland and Italy defeat Belgium to enter the semi-finals. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Uttarakhand Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat resigned last night. Mr. Rawat reached Raj Bhavan at around 11 p.m. with cabinet colleagues and handed over his resignation to Governor Baby Rani Maurya. Our correspondent reports that Mr. Rawat resigned less than 4 months after taking over his charge of Chief Minister. Speaking to media persons after his resignation, Mr. Rawat thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP President JP Nadda for trusting him with the post. He said that considering the constitutional crisis, it is appropriate for him to resign from the post. The BJP has called a meeting of its legislative party in the afternoon today to elect the new leader of the BJP legislative party. As per party sources, Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar is reaching Dehradun in the forenoon to attend the meeting as a central observer. The session of both the Houses of Parliament will commence from the 19th of this month. Subject to exigencies of government business, the session of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha is scheduled to conclude on the 13th of August. Earlier, the Cabinet Committee for Parliamentary Affairs in its meeting had recommended for the monsoon session of Parliament to be held from 19th of July to 13th of August. The government is likely to bring in a number of bills in the upcoming session. There will be a total of 20 working days of Parliament. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO has given its nod to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education to provide technical assistance for satellite TV classrooms in the country to bridge the learning gap due to COVID-induced lockdown. ISRO scientists appeared before the Parliamentary Standing Committee for Education yesterday and made a detailed presentation about the proposed satellite TV classroom for students. Education secretaries and senior officials of 5 states including Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Telangana and Arunachal Pradesh also attended the panel meeting. ISRO scientists emphasized that the organization is ready to provide satellite rights to states to start satellite TV classrooms, but asked if the states will be willing to use the technology. Members of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports will be on a 5-day visit to Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir next week.
The Central Reserve Police Force CRPF has signed an MOU with the Center for Development of Advanced Computing CDAC to train the manpower of the force in advanced technologies and undertake joint projects. The MOU aims at augmenting the technical capabilities of CRPF by training its manpower in advanced areas like Internet of Things or IoT, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, high-performance computing, and big data analytics. The agreement will also provide the expertise of CDAC in the form of technology partner and knowledge partner in developing various ICT solutions for CRPF. Indian Navy's hydrographic survey ship Sarvekshak successfully completed survey action around the site of the ill-fated MV Express Pearl today and handed over the survey data to the Sri Lankan authorities. The ship, equipped with the state-of-the-art survey equipment including side-scan sonar, was deployed on the 25th of June at the request of the government of Sri Lanka. The survey operations in 3 search areas around the wreck was progressed in coordination with Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka's National Aquatic Resource Research and Development Agency NARA. The ship undertook a total of 807 miles of side-scan sonar survey and identified 54 prominent underwater debris from MV Express Pearl and also one additional uncharted wreck. INS Sarvekshak is based at Southern Naval Command at Kochi and is fitted with state-of-the-art survey equipment like deep-sea multi-beam, echo-sounder system, side-scan sonar, sound velocity profilers, and a fully automated digital surveying and processing system. The Enforcement Directorate ED has again issued summons to Maharashtra's former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh to appear before it on the 5th of July. This is a third summon by ED to Mr. Deshmukh, who has skipped earlier 2 summons citing reasons of ill health and insufficient documents provided by ED. His associates Sanjeev Palande and Kundan Shinde are in ED custody till the 6th of July.
The National Investigating Agency NIA arrested 2 more persons from Karyana and Uttar Pradesh yesterday in connection with Darbhanga railway station parcel blast case. The arrested duo, Haji Salim and his son Kafil, will be produced in Patna NIA court today. Earlier, the court remanded 7-day judicial custody to Mohammad Nasir Khan and his brother Imran Khan with alleged Lashkar-e-Taiba links in the same case. The 2 brothers were arrested in Hyderabad on the 30th of June. The parcel containing a chemical kept in a glass bottle wrapped with adhesive tapes and women's cloth was booked at Secunderabad railway station for Darbhanga. The parcel had exploded at platform number 1 of Darbhanga railway station on the 7th of June. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief on the death of editor of the Sanskrit daily Sudharma, K.V. Sampat Kumar. The 64-year-old editor of Sudharma, considered to be the country's and the world's only Sanskrit daily, passed away in Mysuru on Wednesday following a cardiac arrest. In a condolence letter in Sanskrit written to K.V. Sampat Kumar's wife, K.S. Jayalakshmi, Mr. Modi said Kumar's life was dedicated to popularize Sanskrit, especially among youngsters. He said Kumar's passion and dedication towards Sanskrit is inspiring. Mr. Modi said his death is a big loss for the world of Sanskrit and also for the world of journalism. K.V. Sampat Kumar, along with his wife Vidushi K.S. Jayalakshmi, were awarded the Padma Shri in 2020 in recognition of their efforts to keep the publication alive against all odds.
The RBI has tweaked the norms for interest on the amount left unclaimed with the bank after a term deposit matures. Currently, if a term deposit matures and the proceeds are unpaid, the amount left unclaimed with the bank attracts the rate of interest as applicable to savings deposits. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
On a review, the RBI said it has decided that if a term deposit matures and proceeds are unpaid, the amount left unclaimed with the bank shall attract rate of interest as applicable to savings account or the contracted rate of interest on the matured TD, whichever is lower. The new norms are applicable for deposits in all commercial banks, small finance banks, local area banks and cooperative banks. Term deposit refers to an interest-bearing deposit received by the bank for a fixed period. It also includes deposits such as recurring, cumulative, annuity, reinvestment deposits and cash certificates. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
As 21 days to go for Tokyo Olympic Games, AIR takes a look at swimmer Sajan Prakash, who became the first Indian to qualify for the Olympics by making the A standard in the Olympic qualifying time.
Born on 14 September 1993 at Idukki in Kerala, swimmer Sajan Prakash created history as he became the first Indian swimmer to secure an A standard in swimming and therefore qualifying for the Tokyo Games. He did so by clocking a time of 1 minute 56.38 seconds in the 200-meter butterfly, also creating the national record. He had already broken the national record at the Belgrade Trophy 2021, but had failed to make the qualification mark by just a whisker. Then, a few days later, Sajan Prakash scripted history in Rome as he beat the Olympic qualification time by 10 seconds. Prakash was born in Kerala but was later raised in Tamil Nadu. Sports is in his blood, and he was first introduced to swimming at a young age at Neyveli Lignite City Swimming Club. He had a stellar performance in 2015 where he won 6 golds and 3 silvers at the 35th National Games held in Kerala. Prakash was the only male swimmer from India to take part in Rio Olympics. At the 2017 Asian Indoor Games, he won a silver in the 100-meter butterfly. The 27-year-old currently holds 3 South Asian and 1 Asian records. He created history in 2018 as well, as he became the first Indian swimmer to qualify for finals at the 2018 Asian Games in 200-meter butterfly after 32 years. Now in 2021, Sajan Prakash became the first Indian swimmer to qualify for the Olympics via A standard and hopes to do well at the Tokyo Olympics this year, along with his teammate who also qualified. Tripti Srivastava, Sports Desk.
Shomen Mondal, hailing from West Bengal's Medinipur, has won the very first edition of AIR News' Olympic quiz by becoming the fastest to send the right answer. AIR congratulates Shomen on winning the quiz. All India Radio's Olympic quiz, which began on 1st July, has received a tremendous response from across the country. Hundreds of listeners have emailed their responses. To take part in the Olympic quiz, tune in to Sports Scan program.
In the run-up to the Tokyo Olympics, the News Services Division of All India Radio in its Sports Scan program is broadcasting every day Olympics quiz with AIR News. Olympics quiz, Akashvani Samachar ke saath in Hindi. Every day, a question related to Olympics will be asked at the beginning and closing of the program. To participate in this program, listeners can send the replies by email on airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer received through email will be adjudged the winner of the quiz. The name of the winner will be announced in Sportscan program the next day. It will also be flashed on AIR Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts. The Sports Authority of India will provide India team jersey to the winner. So tune in to the Sportscan program every day at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
In Eurocup football, Italy keeps its unbeaten record intact, knocking out Belgium 2-1 in the quarter-final in an intense battle at Munich. Italy will now clash with Spain in the semi-final. Italy have also set a new record for the longest run of victories in the competition, qualifying included. In the remaining quarterfinals, England will take on surprise package Ukraine in Rome, while Czech Republic will be up against Denmark in Baku later tonight.
In Wimbledon mixed doubles, India's Rohan Bopanna and Sania Mirza advanced to the second round after beating compatriots Ram Kumar Ramanathan and Ankita Raina in an all-Indian match. Sania and Bopanna will now face the British pair Aidan McHugh and Emily Webley-Smith in the next round. In the men's section, top seed Novak Djokovic was in cruise mode as he handed a battling American qualifier Dennis Kudla a straight set 6-4, 6-3, 7-6 defeat in the third round. Earlier, fifth seed Andrei Rublev defeated Fabio Fognini 6-3, 5-7, 6-4, 6-2 in under 3 hours to lead a Russian charge into the fourth round. Another Russian, Karen Khachanov, defeated Francis Tiafoe 6-3, 6-4, 6-4 in 1 hour and 46 minutes. In the women's section, Tunisian battler Ons Jabeur continued her dream run as she stormed into the fourth round after packing off former champion Garbine Muguruza 5-7, 6-3, 6-2 in 3 sets. Second seed Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus defeated Shelby Rogers of the United States 6-1, 6-4 in 66 minutes, while seventh seed Iga Swiatek of Poland outplayed Irina Camelia Begu of Romania 6-1, 6-0. Karolina Pliskova of Czech Republic also advanced by beating compatriot Teresa Martinchova 6-3, 6-3. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for the day. The national capital Delhi will have thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees and the maximum may go up to 39 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees while the maximum is expected to be around 33 degrees. Chennai will see generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will vary between 26 and 37 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature was 26 and maximum will go up to 34. Jammu will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius, maximum will be around 41 degrees. Srinagar will see partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperature will hover between 17 and 30 degrees Celsius. Leh will have generally cloudy sky, minimum and maximum will vary between 9 and 26 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. Temperature will hover between 16 and 35 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Minimum temperature was 20, maximum will be around 38.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Centre rushes team to 6 states with 36% cases is the lead in the Hindustan Times. The paper adds that the sharp rise in Kerala's cases biggest worry. States must bring back restrictions if infection or hospitalization trends cross certain thresholds. Drone seen over Indian mission in Pak on eve of Jammu attack, Delhi protest is the lead in the Tribune. Protest to Pak after drone is spotted over Indian mission, says the Asian Age. Islamabad urged to investigate incident, prevent any recurrence. All papers have on their front page the story of Uttarakhand Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat resigning. Quoting Rawat, the papers say, "Quit to obviate constitutional crisis as I could not fight polls within 6 months." Pregnant women can get COVID back, says the Statesman. Pregnant women now eligible to get COVID shots, says the Pioneer. And finally, all papers report that after 4 days of terrible heat wave, Delhi witnessed bout of rains and cool winds which brought down the temperature from 37 to 25 degrees Celsius.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government brings retail and wholesale trade under ambit of micro, small and medium enterprises. India achieves highest ever merchandise export of $95 billion in the first quarter of the current financial year. Government imposes stock limit for all pulses except moong till the 31st of October this year. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 97%. Vaccination coverage crosses 34.41 crore mark. Health and Family Welfare Ministry gives nod for vaccination of pregnant women. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat resigns. Monsoon session of Parliament to commence from the 19th of July. In women's cricket, third ODI between India and England to be played today. In Wimbledon tennis, Rohan Bopanna and Sania Mirza cruise through the first round in all-Indian mixed doubles clash. In Euro Cup football, Spain beat Switzerland and Italy defeat Belgium to enter semi-finals. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.